Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending upon the time you are watching this video. My name is Lokesh Joshi and I am preparing for the service selection board, and I have cleared my written recently. So this is my first lecturate, and the topic on which I am speaking is the role of women in the combat forces. This is one of the easiest topic I do believe one can talk about, and also the most debatable one in the recent years. So the first thing that I would really want to start up is about the equality, because when we talk about the participation of women in the Indian Armed Force, the logical thinking would be that there shouldn't must be the equality of opportunity in the matter of employment. But the thing is, when we talk about equality, when we talk about all these rights, we should and must also not forget that army is not about rights. If it would have been, then there wouldn't be article number 33. There wouldn't have been things like abrogation of the rights of men who are in the army or who are in the defense forces. So army is not just about the equality or the all those rights that have been provided in the Indian constitution. It is more than that. It is basically providing the nation with the security. Now the thing is, by providing this particular argument, I just don't really want to say that women can't participate into the Indian army. No, this is not the case. I am here to provide with some of the facts, and whatever might be in your mind, you can come to other conclusion. What I do believe in, without even starting, I do believe that yes, women should and must participate in the Indian army. This is a very much natural thing, because gods have created men and women with different kinds of qualities they have gifted to both men and women, and army student must not restrict itself to men only. It student must be served with women also. So yes, women student must participate in the Indian army, but it student must not be something like equality. We student must not take the help of that particular equality thing. It is more of a kind of thing that army deserves it, so it student must get. It is not that every woman deserves it. It is that army deserve to be served by everyone. Now, starting with my position, so the thing is, whether women students must take the participation in the Indian army or not has been a very much controversial topic, especially in the recent years. And the intervention of Supreme Court in the recent year had made it mandatory for the armed forces to take certain steps for inclusion of women in the Indian army. It's not that the army in itself don't really want to take that step. It was more expressively taken by the intervention of Supreme Court. For example, in the year of 2021, for the women's, there was the inclusion that they can also give the National Defence Academy examination, and there were many development which have taken place in the recent years as well. For example, in the year of 2016, there were 5 women fighter pilots into the Indian Air Force. When we talk about the development of different sectors like the Indian Air Force, the Indian Navy, and the Indian Army, then it is generally observed that the Indian force has the most development in this particular field. They are having the most defense personnel from the women's, and then followed by the Navy and then the Army. One of the counter argument that one gives not to really include women into the defense sector is that they are not physically as much strong as men are. They believe that if women are better at something else, then they shouldn't must do it. They are not physically that much strong, and army require physical endurance and all those things, at which men are better. And I'm not against this particular article. I also do support this particular thing. Yes, army requires physical strength, but it does not only require physical strength. Women have served for years in the Indian Air Force or in the military, in the defense sector of a number of a number of countries. For example, in the United States of America, in the Israel, and recently also the United Kingdom, women are allowed. So the thing is, women have been participating, though they are not actively participating in the combat forces, but they are participating. In the recent year, the participation of women in the active roles has been more incorporated in the Indian Navy. For example, the Indian Navy has allowed the women to take participate to be a part of the Indian warfare ships, and they have accommodated them accordingly. They have accommodated the ships according to the women, because whenever women would be taking the part of a thing, then definitely they are generally very much different from men. So accommodation need to be made over there. But that is not really the point of worry. The point of worry is that if we would be taking them, would they able be to provide nation with what it wants? So the thing is, there are many things, there are many spheres where if the purpose with which a woman is coming into the air force, into the army or air force or any defense sector is to serve the nation, then there are various places where they can really excel. They can do far better than men can ever do. In the combat forces, they might not be that much effective. uh, I'm talking about a general case. Specifically, there might be some woman who is better than women, but I'm not talking about that particular exceptional case. But the thing in general, women can really, and they have done, especially in the years of Second World War, they have participation in the nursing sector, they have participation in the telecommunication sector, they have participation in all other sectors as well. So what I do believe in is that yes, a woman can participate, woman can, and it is not me who really thinks, it is not my decision to take for obvious, but my personal belief is that definitely women are and can be a very much productive if they student must be allowed to take participation in the Indian army. And as a conclusion, I would say yes, women student must be allowed to take participation in the Indian army. uh, but we student must always keep in mind that men are physically more strong, and whenever it comes to combat forces, men should be opted over women, and whenever it comes to things like nursing, women should be opted over men. So the thing is, army is not just about fighting, it is also about administration, it is also about nursing, because once you get wounded, you also need nurses to heal yourself or to heal the who heal the victim. So the thing is, definitely there is need for women in the army as well. And I'm not saying that they cannot be taken participation in the combat forces. It depends from person to person. If a woman is physically strong, if she can show that I am physically strong, if she is better at that particular thing, then definitely student must be included over there. And the recent steps that have been taken by the government are also appreciable. And that's it. Thank you.